A Brave New World. Hey,
Oh,
thanks for finding the Geek Spot with us on this midweek show reviewing the latest MCU movie I'm Jack. That's Frank over there. Oh, look at that. Yeah. Dom already in the chat. Good to see you, man.
two
Enjoyed
shows
your
in a week.
review. I
Two
think
sh-
our review may be different than yours.
I I didn't watch Dom's yet specifically because I did not want to pull anything from another review.
Makes
I
sense.
have a whole playlist of Captain America reviews to look at tomorrow at work
Yeah.
instead of working.
I had enough thoughts before I listened to any other reviews that they did not move me one way or another.
I had thoughts. I'm sure some of our thoughts will be different, for sure. But
Before we dig in there, though, this kind of plays into the movie because there's some crossover. Thunderbolts had a new trailer. It looked like that came out right before this. More stuff than I had seen, at least.
yeah,
That looked like we're still going down the road. I feel, based on this trailer for Thunderbolts and the situation that we get the Winter Soldier in that, and the Senate hearings and all of those things, and where Val is at and all of that, I feel like Thunderbolts was probably supposed to come out before Captain America.
I don't. Maybe.
And now we are... now this is going to be all sorts of like, hey, ignore what you just saw because we've moved all these storylines around. So I feel like that happened with this based on some of the things that we get in Captain Winter or whatever this movie was.
No.
It was originally supposed to be released July 2024.
Okay. That's when. Right. So Captain America was supposed to come out July 2024. Thunderbirds go. Thunderbolts was supposed to come out December 20th. So yes, you are correct. The movies are in reverse.
Right. So I feel like they changed things in one of them, but not in the other one.
Yeah, because the cameo. So
and we're gonna go full spoilers in right away. Like
Right.
it's if you're here, you know we're talking about the movie that came out last week.
So the asterisk in Thunderbolts is because the Avengers weren't available. So it's supposed to be Avengers, from what I understand, and it is Thunderbolts the asterisk. But that's just the way I got from the trailers. But with Bucky's cameo in Brave New World, saying that he's off running for Congress,
probably going to win.
Would conflict with Bucky running around America or the world shooting shit up in Thunderbolts
with a bunch of
right.
It was originally Cap was originally scheduled for May 3rd, 2024, actually, which was before Thunderbolts, and then they got flipped like 4 times. But does not line up with him traveling or working with a bunch of fugitives and felons and international spies and bad guys in that Suicide Squad. I mean, Thunderbolts movie that's coming out, which they're making look worse and worse.
I think that looks great.
The more stuff they release about it. I feel like, based on Marvel's recent track record, which we'll talk about more in a few, with this movie, we've seen everything in the trailer already.
Yeah, that was all right. I mean, we may as well just go to Captain America because what's in the trailer for Captain America are some of the best parts of Captain America.
It's all of the parts of Captain America.
But the Hulk stuff is all of the Hulk stuff minus maybe a minute and a half, 2 minutes.
Red Hulk, 100%. That's all in the trailer.
the thing where the White House is blowing up, they did their Marvel clever editing, and you don't see that that's Cap and Hulk going through the White House like that, and that's why it's blowing up is because they're fighting through it. That's cool. They did that with Endgame, cleverly editing out certain things to make us think this, and oh my god, there's this behind that, and I don't care about that part.
Yeah,
But
I don't either. My problem was the movie played it like it was a mystery that he was going to become Red Hulk.
it is Thursday too.
We're full in on Brave New World, T.
Oh, they
Just in
saw it.
case. I'm sure you both have already seen.
They have both seen it. Yeah.
Good to see you though, man. Yeah. The movie tried to play like it was a mystery, like, oh no, what's going to happen to Thunderbolt Ross?
Right.
What's the leader? I mean, the thinker, because really the character was the mad thinker, not the leader. What has he been putting in his bloodstream? I wonder what's going to happen to him. Like there was no mystery, but they played it like, oh my god, you'll never guess what's going to happen to Harrison Ford, which took away a lot of stakes for me from like the get go.
Don't watch the commercial. You won't know what happens to Harrison Ford then. Look, on Rotten Tomatoes, it's got 49% from the critics, 80% positive from the fans. Okay? People really do like this movie.
80's not great for a Marvel movie.
I didn't hate this movie. It's not one of the strongest Marvel movies. It does a lot of things in it that I liked. But yes, T. Thunderbolt Ross does turn into the Incredible Hulk.
No, he doesn't. He turns into the Red Hulk.
Yeah, Red Hulk. One of the things I did not like was that aside from the reshoots and all that stuff that we'll talk about in a minute, yes, that's part of it. What Dom asked is, would we have preferred if Red Hulk wasn't in a trailer at all? This is the second time they spoiled a Hulk in a trailer. Yes, I would have preferred not to see the Red Hulk in a trailer. I would have preferred them to keep that under the, keep that close to the vest. Tease it maybe, but don't show him transforming.
Right. I think the problem is they didn't know what their movie was. Yeah. Other than that, like, I mean, that was the whole movie and it was for the last, he didn't become the Hulk till there was 20 minutes left in the movie, 15, 20 minutes left.
Right. So,
and that was the whole trailer. So like really that tells me that you didn't have a story to tell getting to it.
I think they did have a story to tell, but they changed it, and then they changed it, and then they changed it.
Yeah.
And it just, so it made, the budget for it was 180 million. It needs, according to the web, it needs 360 to 450 million to become a financial success for them.
Oh, that's not much.
Its 4-day total was 193 worldwide. That's good. But again, it's
not great.
It's not great. It's the second best opening for a Captain America movie, Civil War being the first. So
but it's first
launch,
Avenger. Nobody knew what was coming.
So at launch, it outperformed Winter Soldier and First Avenger, both of which are superior movies to this overall.
100%. Like I said, like when I saw, I didn't know that Redford was going to flip in Winter Soldier. Spoilers for Winter Soldier. But like this one, like I said, like I knew everything beforehand because the leaks have been so bad.
Yeah.
And what we did, with the Serpent Society is like awful to me. Like there's such a cool cadre of characters and like this great there's like 10 of them. It's every type of snake you can imagine. It has a Serpent Society person with a different power set, all these things. Instead, we got one, right? Then we just got Giancarlo Esposito, who was completely wasted in this. His scenes were good, but he only interacted with Anthony Mackie because that's the only one that was available that did the 10 days that he came in to shoot all of his scenes for the movie 3 months ago.
So one of one of two of the things that bothered me about this movie. One of them, Dom touched on here with or here, that yes, they finally did go back and they explained Tiamat in the movie, the big celestial that's been sitting in the ocean for 5 years that nobody's talked about in any movies. They've made no mention of it. I've bitched about it. They finally mentioned it. Yay. But this movie felt more like an Incredible Hulk sequel from 20 years ago and an Eternal sequel crammed into a movie that could have been a TV series.
100%.
And it's a shame because yes, they wasted Giancarlo Esposito. Carl Lumbly was absolutely awesome in every scene he was in. I loved it.
Which was like 10 scenes too few.
Right.
We could use so much more of him.
And I'll talk about the positives from me. I thought Sam Mackie did a great job, or Anthony Mackie did a great job for what he had. I thought he did a great job. I really like him. I like him as an actor. I really liked him as Cap. His Falcon was good too. It didn't have the same pull or the same play off of like Steve Rogers and Sam Wilson, but it had a different pull. Like they had a different play off each other.
Him and Danny, you mean?
Him and Danny, yeah.
Yeah.
I like those things. The fight scenes, I thought the fight scenes were really good up until the Hulk one. The Hulk one was a little shaky. The air, everything in the air was fine. The hand-to-hand combat wasn't too sped up and it wasn't overly complicated. There weren't a ton. Was there a ton of cuts in it?
In the flying scene?
Not the flying scene.
Which,
anything hand to hand. Because you got to remember.
Nah, but there wasn't as much hand to hand as it seemed like. Like there was a decent amount of cuts in what there was, but the hand to hand stuff wasn't like over the top or spectacular because it was, and that's one of the things that like from 5 minutes into the movie I was like, okay, so we got Sam who we're going to show that he's not the super soldier serum, right? Got it. Cool. That'll be the whole storyline because they already did that for an entire TV show. So why not do it for a whole movie too? But then they set us up in the first 3 minutes of like, hey, but he's got the shield and he's got this amazing suit that was built over the Wakandans that does all this stuff for him, makes him super, powered and can do all these things and do force blasts and do this and all this extra stuff. And then he ends up in a fist fight 2 minutes later. Like, what are we doing?
Right.
With the guy that should have been Seth Rollins. Or at least a member of the Serpent Society that was like a Serpent Society character, not Thug number 4. That was disappointing to me that they didn't dig more into that. And it sounds like they had because there was toys for them that released. The Diamondback toy came out.
There's scenes. There's screen grabs of scenes. Like so original. So we'll. I guess we'll. Well, I want to hear what you thought of the movie before we go into what like the reshoots and stuff. Like,
yeah. Look, I could tell the entire movie that it was like 6 different movies that they cobbled together. I was like, oh, well, what are we do? Oh, we're forget about that. Great, we're on to this. Okay, so there's it. I didn't hate it. Will I watch it again? Probably not. There's not a lot of the Marvel movies the last few years that I've felt the need to rewatch or any interest in rewatching. This will probably be one of those ones I don't rewatch because I don't think there's anything I missed because this felt like the TV shows to me where like, did we advance the story by the end? Not really.
No, the only thing you really did was...
Except for we got rid of Thunderbolt Ross as a character that we can use anymore.
Which... Go ahead, keep going.
But like we did that, right? So he's off the table. Sam's still Captain America. And Bucky's still not, and the Falcon guy's still the Falcon.
Right.
And we didn't move anything other than introducing Adamantium, which won't matter because they're going to reset everything in 3 movies anyway.
Right. So from what I understand, we're still going to get the Weapon X program, which does not give us
In what, Doomsday?
uh, maybe after Doomsday. I
But
don't
that's what I'm saying.
know.
If they're gonna reset in Secret Wars, like, why are we burning all this capital on adamantium and what country gets it? And there's there's 4 countries that can get into it. Okay, so Japan, so we'll do something with Weapon X in Japan. We'll do something with Weapon X, and they should have had Canada as one of them if they wanted to do it, because then at least you pull in Wolverine, some of the Canadian storylines, things like that. But like the political intrigue wasn't intriguing because again, the trailer spoiled everything that would have been intriguing in this movie for me.
Yeah, I don't
So
sometimes I don't get why they do things like that.
yes, so that was my issue with it, and like I said, the way they played the leader, um, was not as the character, the leader. Like nothing about that smacked is like, oh, it's the leader. It's Hulk's enemy. Blah blah. Again, going after Ross because everybody hates Ross. It's also really weird because Thunderbolt Ross was in last week's Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man episodes too. So it's weird how they keep pulling and not pulling
Right.
um, these characters because they talk about Civil War and Sokovia and stuff on that show too. Anyway, um,
I saw the end of that.
I have not
So
yet.
I have. So I think it'll make sense.
I doubt it.
That's all I have.
Got it. I got 2 episodes left. So yeah, I don't know that any of the story made sense or was like the Winter Soldier felt like a thriller. Let me
Yes.
put it up. Like it felt like a thriller. And this one I had questions every moment. I'm like, why would he do that? Like I don't get why and the buddy cop piece, like I don't know why yeah, I don't know, like I didn't love the buddy cop piece, which is what was always good about Cap movies. They were always buddy movies, right? It
Yeah.
was Bucky and Cap in the first one, and then it was Cap and Black Widow with a little bit of Falcon thrown in. Then it was Cap and Falcon, and Civil War was the Bucky and Cap again. This one there wasn't really that buddy piece because like Anthony Mackie and what's his name, Joaquin, who's
Yeah. Joaquin Phoenix.
no,
Yes.
what's his
I
name?
forget his name. I don't
You're
have
kidding.
it in front of me.
And Falcon anyway.
Yeah.
Joaquin Torres
Yeah.
is the character. Danny Ramirez is the actor.
Right.
Got it. He they were fine together, and I liked him, but wildly underutilized. You know what I mean? Like the way that it played, like the fact that it took till the end of the movie for him to go, oh, maybe the Wakandans could give me an outfit too instead of using your old tag along. I was like, why didn't the Wakandans give them both cost? Like, what are we doing? Like, why would he be like, oh, you think the like, just ask them, say, hey, can you up his suit? Because it's the same suit. You already did it. It's just a lot of like the things like that where I was like, all right, I don't understand where we were trying to go or why we went where we went.
There you go.
We didn't dig enough into the Isaiah Bradley stuff.
No, not at all.
Like it was carryover from the TV show where they dug into it. But like the editing on this movie just distracted me the whole time because it was so bad.
Yeah.
Um,
And like T says, the movie pulled too much in all the wrong directions. Yeah. I totally agree. And Dom said the aerial actions was top notch in his opinion. I thought the aerial stuff was great. I loved it.
yeah, the aerial stuff was good at the end. It wasn't like groundbreaking. It was like, okay.
No. And it really felt like they shoehorned Betty Ross in there.
Oh,
Like
yeah,
they
that was
they
awful.
really forced her into the movie. They kept talking about her. Look, Harrison Ford was fine for what he was doing. Um,
I had no
well,
problems with Harrison Ford
when he
or
no,
that.
when he wants to act, he really can act. We saw that in Shrinking. So,
But it was also showing. Okay, so he's been getting played for years now by the leader. Okay, great. Who influenced everything that he did and where he ended up in becoming the president. And then he was supposed to let the leader go, and then he didn't let the leader. Okay, great. And within 5 months, the leader had this entire plan in play to get back at him. And all set up beforehand. I guess it was weird. But I thought Ford was good at what he was given. Look, everybody in the movie was good with what they were given.
yeah,
Just the writing was awful, and I think there was 6 writers on this movie, if I remember right.
well, there was definitely a lot. So the original script and story was written by Malcolm Spellman and Dalen Mooson, writers of The Falcon and Winter Soldier, and polished by director Julius Ona and Pete Glanz, but went through a few rounds of rewrites after the writer strike ended. First, Moon Knight writer Matthew Orton was hired to rework the script before its upcoming reshoots, but he wasn't credited in the final version of the film. Rob Edwards, on the other hand, was not only credited as a writer, but also got a story by credit, meaning his changes had a pretty significant impact on the plot of the movie. So they had 22 days of reshoots during June 2024 and an additional round of pickups for a few days during November.
And that was when Sidewinder was added in November.
Right. So originally, we were supposed to get a Serpent Society fight at the airport. Serpent Society was supposed to have 5 actually serpent-related supervillains led by Rosa Salazar's Rachel Leighton / Diamondback Leighton.
Yeah, who's been even a love interest of Steve Rogers. Like
Right.
he flipped her from bad guy to good guy back in the 80s when the Serpent Society was actually a huge player in Mark Grunwald's run.
So her character was similar to Giancarlo Esposito's Sidewinder role. The other notable member of the team would have been Klaus Voorhees, King Cobra, played by WWE wrestler Seth Rollins. There's really great pictures of him on set. But that role in the film was given to Johannes Hocker.
And Moniker taken out to be any kind of...
He played a version of Copperhead, only named in the credits. And that's the Serpent Society goon that Sam had a hard time with.
Yeah, for like a minute. Right. But he was also wearing this like uber powered costume that should have let him beat him in like a second. Which he then refused to wear his costume for most of the rest of the movie.
Right. So there was supposed to be a fight sequence at the beginning of the movie at a Mexican airport, not a Mexican monastery. And she even got her own McDonald's toy last year when McDonald's had to run their Brave New World campaign early because of pre-existing contracts.
Yeah, well, it's because it was the original release date. They ran it. Yeah, I mean, it was very messy.
Let me see. All right, so this is from the extremely reliable scooper Can We Get Some Toast, who was actually sued by Marvel last year for leaking promotional posters of Brave New World and was the first person to report the inclusions of the Serpent Society. Said it was supposed to be Diamondback, Constrictor, Rattler, Asp, and Cobra.
Mm-hmm.
They all would have segmented tattoos that would have spread apart like seams to reveal cybernetic enhancements. Together, they made the serpent. That sounds really awesome. Diamondback was Rosa Salazar. She had a diamond spike tattoos on her hands and was able to shoot projectiles from her fingers. That sounds freaking badass. Rattler had sonic booms come from his legs that rattled. Constrictor charged coils that went up his arms. Asp had light up fire fists. And Seth Rollins' Cobra character had fangs come out of his mouth that spit acid.
Yep.
How that right there is 1,000 times better.
Yeah. But apparently it didn't test well. So they reshot all of those scenes to make it just Giancarlo Esposito hanging out.
So, according to this, that is a great YouTube name. The original fight against the Serpents in the airport also included Isaiah Bradley fighting alongside Cap and Falcon in his own Cap suit gifted by Sam. Again,
would have been great.
Would have been amazing. The leader's head changed.
Yeah. Well, the original leader looks like a reverse cone head.
Yes.
And all green. And whatever they did with that was like, what are we doing?
There's actually a Funko Pop and a T-shirt with him on it, looking normal. Well, just with like
the comic version.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, it was a weird play.
So, adamantium was supposed to be able to absorb gamma radiation in the original cut of the film. That would have been Cap's secret weapon to defeat Red Hulk, as he would use adamantium to drain Ross of his power, which would eventually lead to his apparent death. And there are pictures, again, from from scenes filmed where they were at his funeral
That was in the
in
trailer.
dress blues.
That was in a trailer.
Yeah.
They were at his funeral with Liv Tyler in attendance.
Yep.
In a trailer
Yep.
again. Like, what are we doing?
That was the first day that Liv Tyler came on set. That's when the paparazzi leaked her cameo. Let me see.
Sabra was completely changed.
Oh, well, yeah, I didn't even get to that yet, but that was changed because of tensions overseas.
Yeah, but then we still mentioned that, you know, his Black Widow that is the head of security for the United States. Like, what?
Yeah.
I mean, look, there's been worse decisions made in the last couple weeks, but like for this movie, like why would you say that there's an Israeli special agent that is the United States security chief officer? Like that doesn't even make sense.
So there were rumors that the original end credit scene would have seen Betty seeing fiery footsteps in her backyard, followed by Red Hulk's glowing red eyes before he vanished, revealing that he actually survived and he's out there in Hulk form. Okay.
Sure. But he's in the raft, so that means that they CGI'd her in to do that raft scene at the end.
Right. Right.
If Mackie and Harrison Ford were even in the same room for that, I bet all three of them shot in separate locations. And it was like the who was it? Batman in Zack Snyder's driveway for the cameo or
Right.
Joker, whoever it was.
Yeah. Oh, Batman and Martian Manhunter.
The one he shot in Justice League where he shot in his parking lot.
Yeah,
Or his driveway. Yeah.
with his iPhone. In the original cut of the film, Sam never got the pills he found at Stern's cell investigated. Then in reshoots, they decided to add a scene where Sam and Joaquin visited Stark Industries to find the smartest scientist working there in order to have the pills investigated. And that scientist was Amadeus Cho, Helen Cho's son, played by Logan Kim. When Amadeus finds out when the pills are coated with gamma radiation, he tries to call Sam to inform him. The leader shows up to stop him, but doesn't kill him like he did with Sam's Navy SEAL friend.
Would have made more sense. Look at all these people that they didn't use in this because they used them in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show.
Right. During pickups, they decided to scrap all that and replaced Amadeus' scenes with Dennis's scenes.
And Amadeus Cho makes more sense in a Hulk movie than Dennis Dunphy. Who,
Right.
Oh, wait a minute. Now I know who Dennis Dunphy is. That's even worse what they did to him. So Dennis Dunphy, now I didn't know his name in the movie. I didn't catch the Dennis Dunphy. So Dennis Dunphy in the comics is a character called Demolition Man.
Okay.
Who is like a professional wrestler who gets superpowered and is in the superpowered wrestling league like Miss Marvel and the Thing were for a while. But his costume is basically Wolverine and Daredevils.
Oh, nice.
So it's yellow and black. It's that Daredevil costume, but with the Wolverine ears popping up and has a big D on the front for Demolition Man. And he was part of Cap's crew. There was a stretch when John Walker took over as Captain America in the late 80s. Who, you know, we'll see him in as some character. I don't know if he'll be U.S. agent or what.
No.
In Thunderbolts. But Demolition Man, the captain, which Steve Rogers took on an all black suit and was called the Captain.
Right.
And I want to say Nomad and somebody else were a team, and Diamondback were a team in the late 80s.
Gotcha.
I didn't realize that was Dennis Dunphy.
Right.
So that's awful that they already burned through that character because he was super fun.
I have two more points on this rewrite thing. What's more, again, revealed by the person who attended the test screening, the current post-credit scene we see in the film had a few additional lines in the beginning where Sam asked the leader if he gave Amadeus Hulk juice, setting up Amadeus as Brawn, his gamma alternate persona in the MCU. The leader said, the guy said, Sam visits the leader in a raft, mentions something about giving Hulk juice to Amadeus Cho, and Stearns goes, something big and bad is coming, and Sam is like, I'll be ready. Okay. And then, according to the person who had watched the original test screening before the reshoots, Ruth had her mutant powers and used them to stop Isaiah after he attempted to assassinate Ross, as well as to stop the brainwashed guards in the Echo 1 base. Then, after the fight, she talked to Sam about she had those powers since she was a young child. Those scenes were removed after reshoots, and they made Ruth a regular ex-Black Widow midget. I mean, small person.
She's 5'2", so like not that small. Just everybody in the movie had to be bigger, I guess.
look, all in all, when you look into the movie and you see what was cut, um, and you see what they ended up doing, you see how much better of a movie it would have been. I don't know who they got in the test screening that it tested so poorly. Um, I saw an interview that Seth Rollins did, and he was kind of annoyed about being cut, but basically was just like, yeah, and he wouldn't say anything. I guess he's under like all the NDAs and all that stuff. So he hasn't officially confirmed what his character was. But like Dom mentioned earlier, he got cut from that, and Becky Lynch, his wife, got cut from a different Marvel movie. I forget which one it was. If Dom's still there, remind me. See if you remember.
Eternals.
Eternals. Okay. I gave it a 6.5 out of 10. I watched it in the movies with my kid, and then I saw it a second time a different way from the movies. I enjoyed it, but like you said, it's not a movie I'll watch again. Like if I'm flipping around TV, if I'm playing video games and I'm like have something on my monitor for background noise. They've been running all the Marvel movies lately, and I've been leaving them on and watching them. But
Nice.
if Captain America comes on, it's not gonna like the Eternals was on. I didn't bother.
That
I
makes
just
sense. This is I just want to show it because I meant to.
turning my
I
heat off.
tried to before and didn't. This is Demolition Man.
Oh, he looks just like Daredevil Wolverine.
Yeah. Just wanted to throw that out there because I did really like that. I loved that run of Cap, and since they rushed to Sam Wilson from Steve Rogers so fast with this, they miss out on 80 years of not 80, 70 years of Steve Rogers canon that they have to pull, and Marvel's been doing it for a while. They've been, I guess you could say, worse with doing it lately with all the little fan service names that aren't fan service because they're not the characters.
Right.
So they're just like reusing names, which they've always done, right? But it's been pretty bad lately between, like I said, between this and between what they're doing on Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, which once I finish, I'll drop a review with my kid on that probably the next week. And kind of recap that and our thoughts of somebody that doesn't know anything about Spider-Man and somebody that's knows a little too much about Spider-Man.
Dom said he gave it a 6. Is it the best MCU movie? Far from it. Is it the worst? Also far from it. Just an average MCU movie that was better than Multiverse of Madness. He's not wrong.
No, it was better than Multiverse of Madness.
I would like to. Well, I think I want to wait until after the summer because we have Thunderbolts coming up, and then we have Fantastic Four coming up. I was really, really, really excitedly hopeful for Captain America, just the way I got myself excitedly hopeful for Multiverse of Madness. It wasn't that big of a letdown. It was definitely a step different direction.
Yeah. I mean, if we're comparing to Multiverse of Madness, I was more excited about the end credit scene in Multiverse of Madness and where that'll take us, that we're never going to get to, than the lack of an end credit scene in this.
T, you should look back and see some of Dom and I's conversations about Multiverse of Madness and how much I just regret going to see that.
Yeah, when we were watching this, when I was watching this one, 30 minutes in, I was already looking at my watch. Like, all right.
I'll be honest with you.
When are we getting through?
This is the first MCU movie I have ever gotten up and gone to the bathroom in, and that includes Endgame and Infinity War.
Oh, I thought about that.
I literally stood up. I went to the bath. I told my kid, I was like, if anything happens, let me know. I came back and I was like, what happened? He went, there was a lot of talking. And I went, okay, cool.
Yeah, I almost got up during this one, and I don't get up during Marvel movies.
No, neither do I.
But yeah, it was well. So just
It was
the
the
other.
multiverse of suck. That's what it was. It was the multiverse of sucks. That's how I feel about that movie. I despise that movie.
There's some fun stuff on rewatch.
Sure, there's some
Most
fun
of it's
stuff.
awful, but there's some fun stuff. Other than the fact that we completely wrecked everything we set up in Doctor Strange 1
Right.
with Baron Mordo, and we're like, forget that guy.
And
We're
you
gonna make him
ruined
a good guy in an alternate universe, but forget the fact that he's going around and killing all the magic users on Earth to get to Strange. Like, great plot to pick up at some point.
and you ruined the best Mr. Fantastic to hire the oldest Mr. Fantastic. But I'm
Jimmy
still
Woo?
hopeful for that movie. Huh?
Randall Park wasn't in that movie.
Oh, John Krasinski, your favorite actor from The Office.
You didn't get my joke. That makes me
No,
sad.
I didn't. I
You
missed
didn't
it.
get my Office joke.
Oh, God, I would have got that in a second. Pretty
So
funny.
disappointed. And 100% room. Yeah, look, everybody's gonna be back in 2 years anyway once we're done with Secret Wars, and they
Right.
have to recast every single character, which will
Except
be
Wanda.
even more outrage. See,
Bring back
right, T? Shame on Frank for not getting that joke.
Frank's hungry.
Agreed. I just have to throw it up on the screen.
Frank's hungry.
Yeah, I think not that I had any issues with the movie, but
Which one?
some of their continued choices with with Sam, like he doesn't have the super soldier formula, as they made abundantly clear.
Yep.
However, 2-minute recovery time through a hatchet through the abdomen and getting stabbed in the chest. I'm like, okay.
Okay, look, if we could nitpick the hell out of the movie, that definitely was a little bit out there.
But it goes back to my problem through the whole movie is they felt a need to constantly put Sam in street clothes. Constantly.
Yeah.
He was in the costume like twice. And then it was a different costume. So the Wakandans sent him more than one costume. Because the one at the beginning of the movie was not the same one that he wore.
Unless the wings were
he wore the white one at the beginning and then he took the blue one with him.
Gotcha.
And there was a change in the whole thing. But like they broke into area 29 or 30, section 31. Is that no?
Maybe.
That's Star Trek show. Yeah, you definitely are hungry. You're missing all these. I'm throwing you softballs.
You are throwing me super softballs.
Broke into that, and he goes in. He takes the shield, but leaves his uniform and the Falcon uniform in the car.
Yeah,
right. And then here was my most annoying part of that whole section. Right. So then they left their uniforms and everything in their car. They left in Sabra's car.
Right. So how do they get
the next scene? They have all of their stuff back while they're on the run.
That's
from the I was like, wait a minute. So did somebody go back and just pick your car? Like, how are we doing that? And it goes back to, again, in my problem, this was Falcon and Winter Soldier time when all of a sudden Sam can throw the shield this exact same way that Steve Rogers could.
Well, okay,
he was 10 times stronger than him.
That I give that to practice.
But the shield weighs like I don't care who it is. A major league pitcher with massive arms couldn't throw.
Maybe.
No.
But
that shield is made of vibranium and whatever else, and is not light.
But then he was throwing it fine in the TV show, bouncing it off.
That's what I said. It was I had an issue with it in the TV show too. Like Bucky can throw it,
strong,
but like Bucky should be able to throw it, not Sam.
Yeah, but he's strong, man. He works out.
Yeah, well, but again, it goes back to like they explained it at the beginning,
right? It's
with his uniform gives him all these extra things. Great, make it about the suit and him, and then transition it into he doesn't need the suit, and he's more than just the suit and the shield, right? Like that's your storyline, not this he just doesn't bring the stuff with him most of the time, but he's just as good.
Listen, don't start on my Phillies, Dom. I almost just delivered my dinner to work at home.
That would be great.
Done that before.
They will love that.
Fair.
So yeah, look, lots of misses. There's a couple hits in this movie with some of the fight scenes, but none of the story hit for me.
I'm just glad we wrapped up the Incredible Hulk and we got closure on the Eternals.
You forgot the Incredible Hulk.
I said the
Incredible Hulk. He wasn't in the movie. So
Yeah, but
no.
we got closure on um um Ross is in prison and now his daughter likes
Sure.
him.
For now.
Right. Now, I don't know. I got
Well,
no.
but he doesn't get his pills anymore, so Ross should just be dead.
Maybe they're gonna wean him off it.
No, but they were to save his heart. Remember,
Right.
because he was dying.
Maybe they're giving him actual pills to save his heart now
Yeah,
without
maybe,
Hulk juice.
maybe. Sure, he came up with them.
There you go. I
Um,
got no closure on anything.
yeah,
I really didn't. I don't. I still haven't seen the original Incredible Hulk. I never
yeah.
watched
Betty
it.
and Bruce still aren't good. I mean, we got some closure on Abomination in the She-Hulk show.
Yep. Which
Which,
sidetrack real fast isn't going to be canon to the Daredevil show.
right,
They're just not going to mention it.
right.
Right.
Well, it's fine. Look, what happens in California stays in California,
Apparently.
right? Like
That,
it's fine.
that show continues to look fantastic and I can't wait for it.
2 weeks.
Reacher's first 3 weeks are out. I'll hit that up this weekend. I'm very excited to watch that. I saw an interview with Alan Ritchson, and he said that he didn't like the way things were done in season 2. He didn't like a lot of the fight scenes, and that he asked Amazon for some special equipment to make the fight scenes better and more up close and like longer instead of cut.
Good.
So from what I understand from people that have seen the first episode, it's great. 100% Rotten Tomato score already. And what's the other thing that I was looking forward to? Oh, Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, I'll dig back in on Reacher. I'll probably start that tonight-ish.
Um, my last thing for me, I did watch. Such an asshole. Amazon released the first 11 minutes of the first episode of Wheel of Time, and I watched it.
And
I'm angry, but oh my god, are they doing a much better job? That's as a person who read the books, none of this happens.
yeah,
But as a person who is a fan of this show being an alternate timeline from the books, wow, this was good.
good.
Don't watch it.
I won't. I already forgot everything that happened the first 2 seasons, so I'm good. You
That's all right.
somehow remember the books that you read 30 years ago, so more power to you. I am not. No, I watched today's Harley Quinn. I did not hit Invincible yet.
I watched today's Battlestar Galactica before the show.
I'll probably hit last night's Invincible today, and then some Reacher will probably be
Battlestar
the rest
Galactica.
of my stuff. So we'll be back though. You can find your Geek Spot with us again on
This Monday.
Monday.
Hockey's at 9:30, so
Monday.
I'm good.
So we'll talk about Reacher, we'll talk about Invincible, we'll talk about all the things that fit into the geek news. And in the meantime, you can catch me at jackkidmusic.com. Got full band this week and acoustic stuff. And you can find Frank online places as Gimzak.
You also can find Jack's Cobra Kai rant this weekend when I post that.
I loved it. It was so good.
Oh,
Yeah, so thank you all. We will all see you soon, and have a great weekend. Bye.
bye.